Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. That includes investigating the nature of any links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government.
All right, 7:51 here, Big 550 KTRS. She should get combat pay for all the stuff she's covering in Washington, D.C. That's Director Comey testifying yesterday in front of the House Intelligence Committee. ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers joins us. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. So, a busy day yesterday on Capitol Hill.
Yes, so the House Intelligence Committee, Comey says there's no evidence of any wiretapping from Obama to Trump or anything. And then Sean Spicer said what afterwards?
Well, he says that that's not the end of the story, that there's still further investigation that needs to be done. And he actually used the line that I know everybody wants to know the end of the book right now, but we're still in the first chapter in this process. So that, of course, makes you wonder. So here on the one hand, you have all of these officials saying that there's so far no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And the White House accepts that. The White House was hammering home that point yesterday, saying, why won't you accept this? There's no evidence, nothing changed. Okay. But then when confronted with similar statements of no evidence on wiretapping, the White House is not willing to accept that right now.
So what's the next step with the wiretapping controversy? Because I guess Donald Trump is still alleging that a former president broke the law and had illegal surveillance against him.
Right. And they say that there's still more to look into. And last week, the president himself said that he would be sending evidence up to the congressional committees that are looking into this. He said there's some very good stuff. But the White House has not answered whether or not that has happened yet, or if there is this evidence that they have, why haven't they released that publicly yet? The president said he preferred to do it through the committees. But, right now you have this incredibly overwhelming lineup of people saying it didn't happen. And the White House is standing isolated saying it did. You'd think they'd want to back themselves up on that. But, we'll see. I think there's going to still be a lot of questions about this, but maybe the White House just wants it to go away.
Yeah, let's talk about this Russian connection because people are all over the board on this. You just said that Comey said, and the White House is sort of trumpeting the fact that there is no collusion. I thought he said he wasn't answering any of those questions, and the only thing he said yesterday, basically, was that there is an ongoing investigation, and that's all I can say.
That's right. That's what Jim Comey said yesterday. It's what other lawmakers have said. And, some of it is anonymous reporting based on news reports out there. And that's another question then of why is the White House willing to accept the anonymous sources on that? Well, because it suits their interest right now. But yesterday, Jim Comey did say, here's the investigation. Here are the parts of it. But that's all we're going to talk about. And certainly, McGraw, they're not going to be holding press conferences every week to give us status updates on the investigation. We'd love that, but they're not going to do it, which means the questions are going to go to the White House, which they can't answer it either because they're not doing the investigation. But it just means there's going to be this big shadow over the administration because yesterday, Comey himself said, this is complex, it's going to take some time, and I can't give you a timetable of when this will all wrap up.
Will we know when they call for people to testify in front of the FBI or to have a conversation with?
It's unclear. This investigation has been going on now for 7 months, and we don't know who has been brought in. Yesterday, the White House was asked that directly of whether if they know that there were people being investigated, and they said that they're not aware of any administration officials currently under investigation. So we'll see if that's a soundbite that, as I do, I slide it over into a folder called Save for Later, and we see if that comes up again. And you say, well, on March 20th, you said you weren't aware, but, we'll see.
All right, Karen Travers.
It's a good folder. You'd like it.
all of this buzz around the fact that the House is trying to vote on the repeal and replace health care bill on Thursday. Where are we with that?
Well, President Trump is in a few moments heading up to Capitol Hill, where he is going to sit down behind closed doors with all of the House Republicans. And this is his last chance to do a big in-person sales pitch. He's been doing it at the White House with smaller groups, targeting specific factions right now. But this is the bigger case. Here's a tricky balance. If you want to bring the moderate Republicans on board who've expressed concerns about the pullback of the Medicaid expansion, well, then you're going to lose the conservatives. If you pull back that Medicaid expansion even sooner and pull back that money to please the conservatives, you're going to lose the moderates. So right now, it's not clear if the votes are there. All eyes are on the group of 40 or so House Republican conservatives who could hold a lot of sway. And if they band together against this, it will likely go down.
Interesting that the most conservative group in the House is going to stop the repeal of Obamacare. That's kind of interesting.
And because they say it's just not enough.
Yeah.
They say we have run now on 4 election cycles. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. 10, 12, 14, and 16. 4 election cycles where they say we are going to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Now is their chance, and they say this doesn't go far enough, and that's what we promised our voters.
Karen Travers, ABC News White House correspondent. Got your head on a swivel. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Outdoor living is where you want to go for all of your decking needs. Now, everybody